Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of August 29, 2024. I'm your host, Shariafa Mohammed MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. Significant strikes and damage. Russian military forces conducted targeted strikes against key Ukrainian facilities, including a warehouse for Storm Shadow cruise missiles, an oil depot, and multiple military concentrations.
Welcome to Frontline Updates podcast. Today, we're joined by Colonel A.C. Oguntoye to get an update on the special military operation as of August 29, 2024. Colonel, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's vital to discuss these updates directly.
Colonel, can you start by giving us an overview of the current state of the operation?
Yes, the Russian armed forces continue to execute the special military operation with sustained intensity. Today, I'd like to highlight significant achievements across various sectors, starting with the North Group of forces.
What can you tell us about the actions in the North Group?
The North Group has been particularly effective. They've engaged enemy formations in the Volchansk, Bryansk, and Liptsov directions, defeating significant units such as the 22nd Mechanized Brigade and the 36th Marine Brigade. They've managed to repel 2 counterattacks successfully, leading to substantial enemy losses.
That's a considerable effort. Moving to the west, what developments have occurred there?
In the west, our forces have made remarkable strides by liberating the settlement of Stelmakhovka in the Luhansk People's Republic. This action has significantly impacted the operational capacity of the Ukrainian forces, as we've also repelled 6 counterattacks from various brigades, further weakening their foothold in the region.
How about the Western Front? What developments have occurred there?
The West Group has improved their tactical positions and has been particularly effective in repelling enemy counterattacks. They faced the 14th and 44th Mechanized Brigades, among others, in areas like Petropavlivka and Torskoy. Through these engagements, we've inflicted losses of 490 servicemen on the enemy and destroyed multiple pieces of artillery, including M777 howitzers.
What about the Southern Group? What can you tell us about their progress?
The Southern Group has secured more advantageous positions, effectively targeting the Ukrainian mechanized and tank brigades. They inflicted heavy casualties, including the destruction of several key artillery pieces and electronic warfare stations. This has further solidified our tactical advantage in the area.
And how is the Center Group faring?
The Center Group has also seen tremendous success. They've liberated Nikolaevka and continued to push deeply into enemy defenses, repelling multiple counterattacks. This has resulted in significant enemy losses, both in terms of manpower and critical military equipment.
With these ongoing operations, how effective have your air defense systems been? And why are troops moving so fast?
Our air defenses have been extremely effective. Just today, they've downed multiple aerial threats, including HIMARS rockets and French-made hammer bombs, ensuring the safety of our ground operations and limiting the enemy's aerial capabilities. Second, after taking the chain of settlements behind Avdiivka, Okrytino, Progress, Volchi, the speed of the Russian troops' advance increased significantly. This happened largely because the Ukrainian Armed Forces Group in this direction suffered heavy losses in the battle for Avdiivka and continued to suffer these losses further. In addition, these were large one-time losses of units that were familiar with the section of the front. And they tried to hastily replace them with units like the 47th Separate Mechanized Brigade and the 115th Brigade, unfamiliar with the area. In the end, everyone retreated. At the same time, the advance of the Russian armed forces is not hundreds of kilometers or even tens.
Lastly, Colonel, what is the strategic outlook for the operation moving forward? And why do the Ukrainian armed forces hold some sections of the front and surrender others?
We continue to engage the enemy on multiple fronts, aiming to further destabilize their operations. The operation will continue with the same intensity and strategic focus, aiming for a decisive outcome. In Toretsk, which is cited as an example of serious defense, a network of fortifications was built, and the Ukrainian armed forces occupy a significant part of the urban development. There is no such defensive line beyond Okeratin, and difficulties arise with the transfer of reinforcements, which are flown both in advance and at the deployment stage. It is difficult and complicated to dig out infantry from urban development, so the Kanal microdistrict in Chasovy Yar has been practically wiped into dust by artillery, and approximately the same thing is happening in Toretsk. The Ukrainian armed forces did not have time to fortify themselves beyond Okeratin, so they preferred to retreat. This also explains the rapid entry of the Russian army through Novogrodovka.
Can the Ukrainian armed forces strike from the north and cut off the Pokrovsk group of the Russian armed forces?
To make this possible, they need several brigades to quickly appear and deploy simultaneously in the areas of Slavyansk, Kramatorsk, and Konstantinovka. These areas have been targeted by Russian artillery since 2022 and experience missile strikes almost every day. Many people concerned about the advance of the Russian armed forces overlook the fact that, even if reserves are gathered, they would have to move along the front line well within reach of heavy weapons to strike from the north against the advancing Russian units. A counterattack on the advancing group, supported by artillery and aviation, might initially seem like a large-scale assault, but this perspective is not considered by those concerned about the rapid advancement to Pokrovsk.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
It's imperative that we keep the public informed. Thank you for giving me the platform to share these updates. Israel has targeted a tent camp housing displaced Palestinians in Khan Yunis, killing at least 5 and wounding over a dozen others, mainly women and children. Israeli attacks have killed 68 Palestinians and wounded 77 in the last 24 hours, while people on the ground reports 28 people killed since this morning.